Hello there. So I have this overview of the Vampire Huntress series. Just the kind of overview of the story, the characters, and whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to be reading from this, so you'll see my eyes going back and forth. So after the fall, the dark angel, after man and woman were deceived and ousted from paradise, the legions of evil beset humanity with all manner of strife and hardship to sway their choice. Earth became the gray zone of choice, where free will would manifest for good or evil, and a soul could be compromised in this fragile environment that casts shadows of darkness amidst the light. The angels on high wept as they watched the fate of humankind struggle against demonic forces, mere flesh and bones, and the hope of earthbound spirits crushed by plagues, pestilence, famines, disasters, violence, no mercy. The cry for help that went up to heaven from the peoples of earth was heard. From the 12 scattered tribes, 12 guardian councils were mission anointed and made up of honorable, courageous men and women of all positive faiths and races, working as a united front, quietly moving behind the scenes, each battling evil in their own corner of the globe. The balance could not easily be tipped. Their fight was vigilant. But just as the forces of evil had human helpers to reinforce the negative spears of the soul-killing influence, the forces of good had the guardians, those that held the line no matter what the challenges befell them. They would not allow the light to be extinguished. And from those 12 armies came the covenant, one from each guardian council, 12 members in all, the bravest of the brave, the wisest of the wise, the keepers of the faith, and the knowledge between worlds. Only the covenant could foretell the coming of the Neteru, although they would never know whether this super being mortal would come as a male or female. All they could do was prepare a special Neteru guardian team as they searched for the prophesied infant. Such an assignment is the highest honor bestowed upon a guardian council, whose mighty task was to ensure that once every 1,000 years visitation of a balance swaying force of light, a Neteru, would be secreted away from evil until old enough to fight. But first, before they could protect this mortal, they would have to find the baby before evil could destroy it. So the covenant are 12 holy seasoned individuals from the original 12 tribes of the land, from every corner of the earth, representing the widespread positive faith, are called within the human lifetime to take up the torch, to hold the light, to stand watch and keep vigil and wait for the coming of the Neteru, the huntress or hunter. Change my page. They have been standing watch from the beginning of time. And in this era, a Neteru has come, a young woman who spans 2 millennia. And her womb can host either good or evil. But the choice is ultimately hers. As her ripening to faith and flesh dawns, she must be guided, protected, and then must learn to stand on her own. Free will, the choice, is mission critical to all the warriors of the light. So here's the characters. Father Patrick, Asula, Monk Lynn, and Father Lopez. So the Neteru Guardians are anointed with the divine mission to protect the Neteru. This elite category of spiritual warriors were chosen to surround their charge with heightened extrasensory awareness, superior physical and inner strength, unmatched courage, keen battle strategy, and unparalleled skill. These strengths not only protect, but also reinforce the Neteru's learning curve and developmental life preparation for his or her own perilous mission. Each guardian's mastery was a lone, hard-won trial by fire and a baptism of struggles until their faith was made impervious to doubt. They came from the ranks of the unwashed, huddled masses, the tired, the poor, the downtrodden, the nameless, the faceless, the obscure. But they are mighty, for in the last days the first shall be the last, and the last shall be the first. These warriors uphold a code of honor. At their hands, no innocent may be killed. Only those entities from the dark realms may be annihilated. As the highest court in the universe, the real Supreme Court, beyond the courts of man, has already passed sentence on the legion of enemies. The guardians walk a delicate line where the end is not enough to justify the means. The way they go about their course must be that of the straight and narrow. So they must be prudent and be sure that they have not violated any spiritual laws of light in their quest to protect the Neteru. As such, each member of the Warriors of Light squad has a special capacity in the 5 sensory areas, plus the 6th sense. So the tactical guardian sensors feel the onset of spiritual danger and are particularly sensitive to levels 1 and 2 of the dark realms, where ether-based manifestations dwell. So those tactical guardians are Shabazz, JL, and Dan. The olfactory guardian sensors smell and taste the onset of danger and are especially sensitive to sulfur-trailing entities that are more prevalent on levels 3, 4, and 5 of the dark realm. These are the most coveted tracker guardians. And that's Ryder, the Nose, and Wizard, Jose. Audio guardian sensors hear the whispers of spirits and are particularly tuned in to the slightest sound coming from the embodied manifestations of were creatures from level 5 and the nearly soundless passage of vampires on level 6. That's Big Mike. Right there. Just Big Mike. Seer guardian sensors see the world with their third eye and are invaluable to any guardian team. They are the vision of the group. They are able to utilize information from dream states, the consciousness, and through home telepathy. These are the most sensitive of all guardians, and they are also blessed with the fruits of the Spirit, heightened discernment, wisdom, and knowing. That's Marlene. That's Mother Marlene. So, and then the Neteru is also a sensor. One blessed with all the above mentioned spiritual gifts, but yet stronger, more naturally skilled, and thus considered omnivoyant, which is in possession of all extrasensory capacities. But this special being is also different physically than the other guardians. Although mortal like his or her guardian brethrens, the Neteru's bone structure and muscle mass is denser. His or her skin is more elastic. Vital organs are more shielded by extra layers of ligament and tissue to enable the Neteru to sustain injuries during battles that might be life-threatening to a normal human. The Neteru's metabolism burns faster, and his or her antibodies, along with the unbreakable spiritual will, are designed to converge upon a demon or vampire bite and purge the system of the viral infection to ward off the possession or vampiric turn. The Neteru has a natural immunity to a demonic or vampire bite. That is Damali Richards, aka the Millennial Neteru, aka the Vampire Huntress. Okay, so the Neteru Council of Queens is Eve, yes, that Eve, Aset, Nzinga, Nefertiti, Lady Fuhao. I'm gonna butcher that name. It's an Aztec name. And then there's also Joan of Arc, Penthesilea. She's also a Neteru queen. And then there's also, with the dawn of the new male Neteru, so has the Akan symbol been burned into Carlos Rivera's skin over the left jugular vein in supernatural silver to anoint and seal off his previous vampiric bite markings. Spoiler alert, that was late. So Carlos, so upon the death of the body, this is not about Carlos, we're just moving on. Upon the death of the body, the soul can either ascend or descend. The soul weight is determined by choice. Once all hope is lost and unspeakable evil is done, those sins committed without remorse, without a cry for redemption, the dark realms become its home. As above, so below. 6 realms of darkness mirror 6 realms of light, with the 7th depth hosting the power source of all that is evil, just as the 7th level above hosts the ultimate power source of the universe, the Almighty. Sins create soul weight, dragging it down the multiple caverns within the pit. Hope, faith, love, forgiveness, a fervent request for redemption, remove the weight, uplift the spirit, and allows the soul to soar, to blend in with the other spirits of the light. This is why the choices made in the gray zone are so critical. No angel in heaven, not one warrior of light, or one spirit of lightness ever wants to lose a soul to the weight of an unredeemed sin. Thus, the battle is waged, one soul at a time. It's mighty, but the dark realms have claimed many. So, we're going to take a trip down the dark realm. So level 1 is the realm of lost souls. The ruling body is the pain gangs. So the confused, disembodied spirits filled with guilt and negative energy manifest as shades, ghosts, haints of etheric nature, mists that bring a cloud of sadness, despair, coldness to the places where they last breathed life, and they cause minor disturbances to the natural world. Level 2 is the poltergeist realm, and the ruling body is the splinter cells. So level 2 is a lot denser, where the disembodied spirits have more negative energy, more kinetic strength, and where poltergeist activity can be found. Jealousy, rage, brutal lies, and avarice live there. Level 2 is the demon realm. Level 3. We're on 3. The ruling body is the Serpent Congress, reports to the Supreme Council. So level 3 is even more denser. It's where the ether-like spirits begin to take twisted demonic forms, compressed from evil ether by the weight of the deeper caverns. This is the outer region of the world of vengeance. Level 4 is the realm of the Amanthras. I think I say that right. I always think I say that wrong. Amanthras, I guess. Anyways, they're revenge demons. The ruling body is the Supreme Council. So there's solid forms of actual revenge demons. Hatred is their fuel. Acts of violence and hideous acts of revenge are their earthly manifestations. These forms have a shape, a body, made monstrosities of the pit. So, level 5 is the realm of the were-demons. The ruling body is the were-senate. And, hold on, sorry, my papers are getting all messed up. So, level 5 is a dangerous, insidious realm of were-demons. where twisted human forms are fused with primal animal natures, unchecked by the human spirit, devoid of remorse, impulse, their single catalyst. These are the creatures of the night that visit in human form only to shapeshift into things unthinkable. Level 6 is the realm of the vampire. The ruling body is the Vampire Council. Level 6 is the source of all treachery, highly evolved but twisted intellect, possessing all the capabilities and evil in all the realms before it. This is the realm of the vampire. This, most dangerous of all the dark realms, is where evil politics shift world power amongst humans, money, levy nations to war, spoil environments where true predators exist. Where this shrewd entity is so highly evolved of the evil species that it could walk amongst men, conduct businesses, cut deals, and slither into the darkness without a trace, feeding on the innocent, turning and seducing even the most faithful. The Vampire Council rules this realm from the black 5-pointed pentagram of power table, 1 star point for every continent, 1 council level master vampire for every landmass, where the CEO of all darkness, who will remain nameless, crowns the center of their boardroom table. That is why the Netzeru comes as a vampire hunter or huntress. So, I mentioned Carlos. I said that earlier. That's Damali's boo thing. He takes the walk on the dark side. So then there's Yanni, his boy. He's a vampire too. Fallon Nuit. He's a badass vampire, but he's not a good guy. And the chairman of the Vampire Council is Dante, who is actually the son of Lucifer. And spoiler alert again, he's the one that seduced Eve in the garden. So level 7 is yeah, those are all vampires on the because Carlos, he took all, it's the whole thing. So level 7 is the realm of the fallen angel. The ruling body is the fallen angel. Cannot be spoken of. Is the ruling province of one entity, the fallen angel. So, there's some frequent, I got all this from the website, by the way. Authors L.A. Banks, The Vampire Huntress Legends. You want to get on that website, you can see all this. It tells you everything. So let's see if I want to read any of these most common asked questions. Let's see. Okay, this is a good one. Was there always a vampire council? No, in the old days there was only feudal law. Thus anarchy, but this proved unwise for the survival of the race, as it made the human townsfolk nervous, and it encouraged them to cling to their religious icons and to seek redemption in hallowed ground. People believed in vampires then, so hunters adapted the ways of vampire slayings were plentiful and skilled. What was required was to shift the human perspective, to make the humans think that the demons and ghosts and goblins and werewolves were all superstition, myth, legend, until few people would remain savvy to the intricacies of how to eradicate the vampire race. Therefore, the Vampire Council was formed to stem the tide of the hunts, to lull humans into a false malaise and spiritual apathy so that the vampires could feed at will. And although they feed, they have created policies that limit their growth within each territory, as to not deplete the natural but limited food supply of human beings. Policy states that the human generally is to be killed before it bled out, so they won't turn. Okay, so the next question is, vampires have a societal strata. Explain. At the Vampire Council levels are seated the oldest, wisest, most cunning, and evil species of this evil species. They are stronger in telepathy and intellect, and their powers are legendary. Only a council level vampire can make a master vampire. The members of the Vampire Council dwell subterranean. The increasing age of their bodies makes them vulnerable topside. Only upon a brutal power takeover, a violent coup, or the death of the council level vampire at the hands of a slayer, or through a unanimous council level vote by a swift assassination, do these thrones of power change hands. However, the topside dwelling master vampires are their arms and legs, then the doers of their bidding on the earth above the pit. Each master vampire has a feeding territory, segregated in the same manner that wolf packs mark hunting grounds. Once the Vampire Council assigns the predators a territory, every bite they deliver upon a human creates a second generation vampire, a sire beholden to a master, albeit with less strength and diluted skills. Every master vampire is given and therefore knows the assigned number allowable for his or her territory based upon population density. These lieutenants are tracked in a black tomb held by the a book held by the Vampire Council. Each birth of a new vampire is registered, just as each death runs black blood in the book. If a second generation vampire bites a human, they will create a weaker strain, a third generation, and so forth, with vampire powers diminishing as the virus gets passed and further away from the original host source. But this sets up a dangerous variable. Many generations down the line, it is possible for there to be humans with strange, inexplicable proclivities stemming from the first bite delivered to their lineage. And we'll get into that when we hit to the stories, that part. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Okay, let's see here. We're gonna turn the page again. All right, whoops, let me go back because I want to read this one. So, can vampires reproduce in any other way than through a bite? Okay, that's a loaded question. So technically, no. Once they've died as a human being, in turn, their sperm is dead, just like their womb and eggs are dead. Their aging process slows to a crawl, and they remain relatively the same age they had been upon their human death, prior to the unholy resurrection 3 nights later. After thousands of years, their age begins to tell on them. Hence why members of the Vampire Council have reduced physical stamina. But do not be fooled. What they lose in physical vitality is well made up for in their increase in mental and telepathic capacity, with the ability to utilize seized host bodies down to the cellular level. It is this small caveat that makes them anxiously await the most coveted vessel, a female Neteru. This is the only womb that can sustain a vampire fetus. When fully fertile, the ripening, the Neteru has antibodies in her system that will protect their evil seed at all cost, even igniting life within it, but will not harm the fetus despite its viral vampiric infection, allowing it to take root within her and grow. And all the old vampires need is an infected but not yet dead male with a glimmer of a soul to be their host. The outcome of this deadly combination is daywalkers. Blade! Vampires that are impervious to sunlight and therefore stronger than the council level vampires. So the next question is, if a female Neteru can be impregnated to carry a daywalker fetus, then isn't she weaker and more vulnerable than a male Neteru? Why would the light make a female version of this important warrior? A female Neteru can only be compromised during a small window of opportunity every 7 years during a warrior ripening, when her entire metabolism lowers its defenses to purge the buildup of toxins induced by adrenaline in an effort to save the human body for longevity. The light makes this being because the female Neteru can also host the most evolved guardians. The human product of these wombs have led empires and created dynasties. In addition, the potential progeny of a male Neteru is actually more at risk because he would have to guard and protect a normal human female through her entire gestational period. One slip, one moment of lower defense, and the dark realms would eliminate the potential infant threat. Conversely, the female Neteru's body is designed to be a fighting machine, and when impregnated, her body naturally reinforces its protective barriers against any and all harm that might come to her unborn child. Okay, we discussed that, so we're not going to read that. Let's see here. Okay, vampires reside or have ages over level 6 of the Dark Realms, but have the capabilities of all levels above them, and are considered the most evolved. Explain. As a soul's weight is driven further subterranean based on the weight of sin affixed to it, the more form and shape it manifests. Ghosts have a mist or vapor quality. Poltergeists have more kinetic charge. Revenge demons become twisted, slithering things and grow more gruesome in the realm beneath them. Their were creatures are human appearing one moment, but then transform into hideous apparitions upon the full phase of the moon. The longer the entity can hold the human form at will, the more sophisticated and deadly it is. Vampires are truly snobs because of their hierarchy and evolutionary status within the evil food chain. They don't consort with the likes of demons and other lesser entities by and large. Vampires can turn into the mist in the night, rivaling ghosts. They can possess a body, twist a mind, hypnotize, move things with their minds, cast illusions, and erotically seduce a victim like a succubus. Vampires have the cunning linguistic dexterity of the serpent, the green-eyed monster from the province of Revenge. They can become bat or a wolf or a panther like the were creatures, and yet this shapeshift is their decision, not a fate decided by the moon. They have the freedom of night flight, projection to appear and disappear at will like a silent ghost. But what makes them the Dark Realm's envy is that they are seductive, smooth, controlled, shrewd, and rarely given to commit any action without serious strategy behind it. They do not act on impulse like the demons, the were creatures, or have to remain contained to a location like the Haints. They have freedom of motion except for a time marker delineated by the sun. They are the Dark Realm's most deadly and hard to kill predator. Then, with all those forces of darkness afoot, does humanity stand a chance? Yes, the battle is not one fought with conventional weapons of the material world. It is a spiritual battle to the last man and woman stands. One positive soul can sway the final outcome. We cannot afford to lose even one individual. That's why we must all be thankful and keep the faith. There are 12 obscure teams of 12 guardians, a battalion of warrior angels, positive ancestral spirits, normal, fragile humans also join in the ever-present fight to keep hope alive. And the light just sent us a Millennium Netaru. Okay, guys. That was it. Bye.